Om Namo Devaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashna Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtike Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shashunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are going to continue to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are on Canto 3, Chapter 20, Text 5. Tayo samvadda toho sutta pravrata hi amalaha kathaha apo ganga iva ghagnir hare padam bhujashrayaha. Shaunak inquired about the conversation between Vidur and Maitreya. There must have been many narrations of the spotless pastimes of the Lord. The hearing of such narrations is exactly like bathing in the water of the Ganges, for it can free one from all sinful reactions. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The water of the Ganges is purified because it pours forth from the lotus feet of the Lord. So Ganga Devi, why is she so important? Because she's washing the lotus feet of the Lord. That's the reason she's so important. And she's important all over the universe. She flows from the upper planetary systems. Mandakini, she's called Mandakini. Then in this earth, she's called Bhagirathi. And in the lower planets, when she goes, I forget the name. She flows all through all the three worlds, upper, middle, and lower. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is as good as the water of the Ganges because it is spoken from the mouth of the Supreme Lord. So it is with any topic on the pastimes of the Lord or the characteristics of his transcendental activities. The Lord is absolute. There is no difference between his words, his perspiration, or his pastimes. So Krishna, he's absolute. The Supreme Lord, God, he's absolute. We are not absolute. In this material world, it's all material. Everything is relative. But with the Supreme Lord, when we are saying Krishna, that is Krishna himself. It is Krishna himself. When we are hearing the pastimes of Krishna, it's Krishna himself. When we are speaking about his qualities, that is Krishna himself. So the water of the Ganges, the narrations of his pastimes, and the words spoken by him are all on the absolute platform, and thus taking shelter of any one of them is equally good. The word spoken by Krishna is also Krishna himself, because it's all absolute. Srila Prabhupada Goswami has enunciated that anything in relationship with Krishna is on the transcendental platform. If we can dovetail all our activities in relationship with Krishna, then we do not stand on the material platform, but always on the spiritual platform. So even if we do all our activities for the pleasure of Krishna, my dear Krishna, I'm chanting today is for your pleasure. My dear Krishna, I'm hearing is for your pleasure. If we do all our activities for the pleasure of Krishna, in connection with Krishna, in relationship with Krishna, they become transcendental. They become spiritual. Tana kirtaya bhadram te kirtan yodara karmanaha rasagya kono tripyeta hari lilamritam piban. O Sutta Goswami, all good fortune to you. Please narrate the activities of the Lord, which are all magnanimous and worth glorifying. What sort of devotee can be satiated by hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord? So the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, which are always enacted on the transcendental platform, should be received with all respect by devotees. So we can hear, now we can understand that the Lord's pastimes, all what he does, his activities, his leelas, they are all transcendental. They are not material like our activities. Our activities are material. Our motivation is material. For the sake of the body. But Krishna, he is transcendental, absolute. So his pastimes, his leelas are also transcendental. And just by hearing them, we said, we get purified, we feel blissful, we feel happy, we are associating with Krishna. Many are not able to understand this mystery, that why the pastimes of the Lord are so important. That is understood by the devotees. Those who are actually on the transcendental platform are never satiated by hearing the continuous narration of the pastimes of the Lord. Those who are actually on the transcendental platform are never satiated. We can see Parikshit Maharaj, the Bhagavatam that we are hearing now. 7 days, 7 nights, he didn't say, I want to drink water, I want to use the restroom, I want to sleep. No, he was just rapt attention, hearing the nectar which was flowing from the mouth of Sukadev Goswami. For example, if any realized soul reads from Bhagavad Gita, he will never feel satiated. The narrations of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam may be read thousands and thousands of times, and still without fail, new aspects of the subject matter will be relished by the devotee. And we have that practical example, no matter how many times we read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, each time we are like, oh, wow, I never read that before. We get newer and newer realizations. That is because because it is spiritual. So it's ever fresh, and it's eternal. It's eternal. It's unlimited. And so that's the reason, that's the mystery of bhakti. Unlimited ocean of bliss. Any comments or realizations?
I just wanted to check earlier, it mentioned about the perspiration of the Lord. So does it mean, what connection is it got to do with the Ganges? That's how the Ganges was formed?
The Ganges was...
because why, like specifically it was mentioned about the perspiration? Okay, we've heard like pastimes, Lord's pastime, the name.
I'm not sure. Ganges water washes the feet of the Lord.
No, did it come from the perspiration of...
Perspiration? I am not sure. I'm not sure. I know in Vrindavan we have some kund which are by the tears, Kusum Sarovar. They are by the tears of the gopis are there. So those kunds are very, very sacred, purifying, spiritual. Ganges water, she comes from the feet of the Lord. I'm not sure.
From the feet, no?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right.
Then reading on Evam Ugrashravaha Prishta Rishibir Misha Yanehe Bhagavati Arpita Dhyatmas Tan Aha Shruyatam Iti. On being asked to speak by the great sages of Naimisharanya, the son of Roma Harshana, Sutta Goswami, whose mind was absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, said, "Please hear what I shall now speak." Sutta Uvacha Hare Trita Krodha Tano Svamayaya Nishamya Gor Udharanam Rasatalat Leelam Hiranyaksham Avajnaya Hatam Sanjata Harshomunim Aha Bharataha. Sutta Goswami continued, Vidar, the descendant of Bharat, was delighted to hear the story of the Lord, who, having assumed his own divine potency, the form of a boar, had enacted the sport of lifting the earth from the bottom of the ocean and indifferently killing the demon Hiranyaksha. Vidur then spoke to the sage as follows. It is stated here that the Lord assumed the form of a boar by his own potency. His form is not actually the form of a conditioned soul. A conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of body by the higher authority of material laws. But here it is clearly said that the Lord was not forced to accept the form of a boar by the external power. So we are conditioned souls. We are conditioned right now. We are conditioned to thinking that we are the body. We have forgotten our real identity. That's the only way we can live in this material world, inside this material body. If we remember our real identity, we will not be able to be here even for a moment or a fraction of a moment. We are able to be here in this material world, inside this material body, because we have forgotten. And how does that happen? Through the agency of Maya Devi. So we become conditioned souls. Now, because we are conditioned, then we are forced to accept one body after another from the higher authority. Material laws are there. Krishna has made the laws. He's the lawmaker. And Maya Devi is making sure that everything is carried out in proper order. But Krishna, he's not forced. Nobody forced him. Oh, you become Varahadev now. You take a boar form. No one can force Krishna. He is Swarat, supremely independent. And the pure devotee, when the pure devotee goes to the spiritual world, also becomes supremely independent, just as the Lord. Why? Because the spiritual world is on the absolute platform. It's on the absolute platform. So then there is no difference between the devotee and the Lord. But yet the differences in the loving relationship. One, as we are reading in the in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the devotee just wants to engage in loving pastimes with Krishna, and Krishna also wants to engage in loving pastimes with the devotee. So he assumes a form by his own internal potency. The form of the Lord, therefore, can never consist of material energy. So it's not that his boar form had this blood and bones and all that. No, it's transcendental. It's Satchit Ananda. Satchit Ananda. The Mayavad version that when Brahman assumes a form, the form is accepted from Maya is not acceptable. Because although Maya is superior to the conditioned soul, she is not superior to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She is under the control of the Supreme Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So there are some people who think that when Krishna comes to this material world, his body is Maya. His body is material, but that is not the case. That is not acceptable. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita all keep reinforcing the fact that Krishna's form is transcendental. And Maya, she is strong. She is stronger than the conditioned soul. Now we are conditioned. So that's why she's more stronger than us. We are under her. We cannot at any time say, okay, I want to get out of this body and take up another body. No, we can't do that. But Krishna, he can do anything he likes. He's not under the control. The example is always given that when they are prisoners in the prison, they can't just leave any time. They can leave only when they either they receive pardon from the president or when they have finished their term of imprisonment. But if the president of the country comes inside the prison, does it mean he becomes the prisoner? Does it mean that he is bound by the laws of the prison? No, he just came to visit by his own will. He was not forced to come there. He just came to visit and to see if anyone is rectified, then he can pardon them and bring them out of the prison. And so similarly, this is how this material world is. We are all the prisoners in the material world. And Krishna comes, he comes to visit and to attract us, to tell us, hey, get out of here, don't be here. And so the jailer of the prison is who? That's Maya Devi, Durga Devi. She's the jailer, superintendent, making sure we are all here. By bribing her, she was not going to let us go out because she's fully under the control of Krishna. We can't bribe her. Let me get out of this material world. Take me to the spiritual world. She says, sorry, I can't do that. So she is under the control of the Supreme Godhead as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Sorry. Maya is under his superintendence. Maya cannot overcome the Lord. The Mayavad idea that the living entity is the supreme absolute truth has become covered by Maya is invalid because Maya cannot be so great that it can cover the supreme. The covering capacity can be employed on the part and parcel of Brahman, not on the supreme Brahman. So Maya can cover the conditioned soul, not even the liberated soul, not the pure devotee. She can't cover the pure devotee, but she can cover us, conditioned. But she cannot cover Krishna at all, the supreme Brahman. Not the supreme Brahman. Krishna is the supreme Brahman and she can't cover him. So now here we say that Srila Prabhupada is speaking, he's trying to explain to us so much about what the impersonalist philosophy is or the Mayavad philosophy is. And so why is he telling that? Anyone?
So that we understand that this world is impermanent and we should serve the lotus feet of Krishna. We should not waste this human life.
Yes, that's true. Thank you. His intention is not to say that the intention is not to criticize, but his intention is to educate. Many people wrongly think that, oh, Prabhupada is speaking like this, that is criticism of another, and we should not criticize any other, and we should accept everything. But Prabhupada's intention is to educate us to the correct knowledge. His intention is not to criticize anyone, because if he does not tell us, how will we know the truth? And that's how we can know, because of the effect it has. Because if one is just simply criticizing, the effect is not going to be positive and change our doubts. But because his intention is to educate us, give us the correct knowledge, we can see our doubts are being cleared. And we are trying to become devotees. So then, reading on Viduruvacha. So it's like when we understand somebody is from a different school of thought. So even our intention should not be to criticize anyone, but to educate so that in case they are willing to understand the absolute truth, then they have a chance. Viduruvacha prajapati pati shishtva prajasarge prajapatin kim arabhatame brahman prabruhi avyaktamargavet. Vidur said, since you know of matters inconceivable to us, tell me, O holy sage, what did Brahma do to create living beings after evolving the Prajapatis, the progenitors of living beings? The significant here is the word avyakta margavet, one who knows that which is beyond our perception. How can you know something which is beyond our perception? Our perception is all with our senses and our mind, right? Our perception is limited to whatever we can see, whatever we can hear, whatever we can taste or touch, isn't it? Or whatever we can think of. That is our perception. How can we understand something beyond our perception? To know matters beyond one's perception, one has to learn from a superior authority in the line of disciplic succession. That is the only way. Just to know who is our father is beyond our perception. For that, the mother is the authority. So we have to understand everything beyond our perception from the authority who actually knows. So as when we are being conceived, we don't know who's the father. You know, who we have to ask is the mother. Hey, mom, who's my dad? Then she'll say, this is your dad. Now, if you're going to go research work, no, why should I believe my mom? She might be lying. Let me go ask each and every man in this world, who is my dad? I will not be able to get the perfect answer. Somebody might cheat me. I might die before doing the research work, and all my energy is wasted. My father's living right here. And instead of having a loving relationship with him, instead of, exchanging love with him, I'm here trying to do research work. So all my energy is fruitless, especially if I just die before knowing it. So the easiest way is to hear from authority. And so we need to hear in the line of disciplic succession. The first avyakta margavet or authority is Brahma. And the next authority in disciplic succession is Narad. Maitreya Rishi belongs to that disciplic succession. So he also is Avyakta Margavet. Anyone in the bona fide line of disciplic succession is Avyakta Margavet, a personality who knows that which is beyond ordinary perception. So how can we know something which is beyond ordinary perception? We are hearing from authority in the disciplic succession. Why? Because the original knowledge is coming from Krishna. Only he can tell us, because he is perfect, absolute, complete. The absolute can tell us about the absolute, and it's coming from one perfect personality to another. So the knowledge coming down is perfect knowledge. Ye marichi adayo viprayastu swayambhuvo manuhu tave brahmana adeshat katham etad abhavayan. Vidur inquired, how did the Prajapatis, such progenitors of living entities as Marichi and Swayambhuva Manu, create according to the instruction of Brahma? And how did they evolve this manifested universe? Sadvitya kim asrajan swatantra utta karmasu ahosvit samahata sarva idamsma samakalpayan. Did they evolve the creation in conjunction with their respective wives? Did they remain independent in their action? Or did they all jointly produce it? So Vidur wants to know, how did the creation actually, what happened? The progenitors are there. Swayambhuva, Manu is there, Marichi is there. They are the Prajapatis. Lord Brahma had created them so they could populate the universe. So Vidur wants to know the details. Maitreya vacha daivena durvita karyena parena nimishena cha jata shobhat bhagavato mahan asid gunatrayat. Maitreya said, oh, this is a little long. So Do we have any questions or comments till what we have heard?
I just have one question.
All clear.
Yes, please.
I just have one question. You said that if when a conditioned soul realizes, then it is not possible for them to stay in the material world. So that means that all the acharyas, they had realized their true form.
They are in a special mission sent by the Lord.
Okay.
They are not under Maya Devi. They are under
Okay.
Yoga Maya.
Okay.
So Yoga Maya is, enabling them to remember what they need to remember and forget what they need to forget. Otherwise, they won't be able to live. And the acharyas, they're always with Krishna.
Yeah.
Never for a moment are they away from Krishna. Krishna is absolute, right?
Yeah.
Krishna is absolute. Just by thinking of him, we are with Krishna. So the acharya, because he's calling out to Krishna in the pure way, he is with Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada is chanting Hare Krishna, he is with Krishna. When he's dancing in ecstasy because of being with Krishna. Otherwise, how such an old man, was able to do the things which he did? Not possible, right? Dancing for hours. Here we dance a little bit and we're like, oh, my pain, this is, it's hurting and that. So the acharyas, they are with Krishna, not bound by this material world. Although for the sake of pastimes of the Lord, they are under Yoga Maya Devi.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's an important question. So once we also understand, once we come to the point of love for Krishna, then impossible for us to live in this body. The soul immediately leaves the body. Can't stay in separation from Krishna even for a moment. Just wants to go back to the original spiritual form. Because the love is already been realized, already manifest. And that's what we have forgotten. We have forgotten that each of us has this deep love for Krishna, deep, deep love. And instead we are loving the body instead, or I conscious. We have become conscious of ourselves. Well, we are not even conscious of who we truly are. We first have to become conscious of who we truly are, then we can become Krishna conscious. That's what's the endeavor. Any other questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. So we'll end here for today. Thank you so much for listening and thank you so much for joining in Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.